William unleashed his ultimate technique. As he wielded his mighty saber, the towering illusion of the god of war moved in perfect synchronization, their combined might creating a sight that would have struck terror into the hearts of lesser foes. A colossal saber shadow, stretching dozens of meters in length, descended from the heavens with unstoppable force. The very air seemed to part before its unstoppable advance. The devastating attack cleaved through the swarm, cutting hundreds of insects cleanly in two. Their lifeless bodies rained from the sky, only to be swiftly devoured by their own companions in a grotesque display of efficiency.
This is the true power of a martial king level warrior. The gap between us and those in the semi-martial king level is like heaven and earth.
But William's initial satisfaction quickly turned to dismay. Even this maximum strength attack, his ultimate trump card, had only managed to fell a mere 100 of the countless insects.
No way! What kind of devilish bugs are these?
His mind raced with possibilities. Could Zane have anticipated their return to Newland space? The last time they had ventured here, there had been no sign of these accursed insects.
It must be it. That's the only explanation that makes sense.
Zane, you disgusting... Wow, what a disgusting, nasty guy.
Even as curses against Zane filled his thoughts, the horrifying bug cloud surged forward like a living flood. The swarm moved with the ferocity of a wild beast, threatening to engulf William completely. The insects showed no mercy as they swarmed over every inch of his body. They crawled across his face, limbs, neck, and throat, even infesting his hair. Their razor-sharp teeth began their gruesome work, tearing into his flesh with savage efficiency.
God, it hurts. It hurts like hell. God of war armor.
Drawing deep upon his god of war bloodline, William summoned its power. The massive illusion in the sky began to contract and transform, condensing into a brilliant suit of protective armor that encased his entire body in its radiant light. For a brief moment, the divine armor served its purpose, creating a barrier between his flesh and the ravenous insects. But this respite would prove tragically short-lived. The sight of such an unattainable prize seemingly within their grasp drove the bugs into a maddened frenzy. They attacked the god of war armor with renewed vigor, their enormous maws gnashing against its surface with unprecedented ferocity.
Ha! How about that, huh?
It's useless. No matter how sharp your teeth are, they can't be... What the devil? My god of war armor. My god of war armor has been bitten through.
William's composure shattered like his failing armor. Even against martial king-level experts, this divine protection could block a large number of devastating attacks. Yet now it was beginning to crack under the relentless assault of these mysterious insects.
This is impossible. If these vile creatures can breach my armor so easily, are they actually more powerful than martial king-level experts?
With a devastating burst, the god of war armor exploded into fragments of light. Without this final line of defense, the ravenous bugs immediately began to burrow into William's exposed flesh. In this moment of crisis, both brothers finally felt the cold grip of genuine fear. Their minds reached the same conclusion simultaneously. They had to flee, and quickly. If they remained, these maniacal insects would strip them to the bone.
Jacob! Run! These bugs are too eerie! Their defense is too amazing! Not to mention their attack power.
But when he turned to warn his brother, he discovered Jacob had already begun his retreat, having mapped an escape route during the earlier fighting.
William! I'm already retreating!
What the hell? Some younger brother you are. Why didn't you keep me in the loop? Wait for me! Wait for me!
William fled as if death itself were on his heels, which, considering the nature of their pursuers, wasn't far from the truth. The bugs matched their pace with frightening speed, never letting the gap widen. In their desperate flight, the brothers finally burst through the formation boundaries of the Newland space. The moment they crossed the threshold, the pursuing swarm suddenly halted, trapped within the space's confines. Standing in safety at last, the brothers surveyed their wounds with livid expressions. Their clothes were riddled with holes, and dozens of bloody injuries covered their skin, still oozing fresh blood.
Damn it, Zane is such a monster. How dare he plot against us like this?
What should we do now?
As his rage gave way to analytical thought, William considered their options carefully.
These bugs are too weird and hard to deal with. If we want to resist their attack, we have to have more than 10 Marshal King-level martial artists.
10?
Jacob's mouth gaped in disbelief as he processed this revelation. Could Zane's insects truly be so formidable that even his Marshal King-level brother proved ineffective against them? The need for 10 such powerful warriors seemed almost incomprehensible.
But our mission must remain secret. We can't possibly gather so many Marshal King-level experts without drawing unwanted attention.
The brothers quickly dismissed this option, knowing their plan's success relied heavily on maintaining absolute secrecy.
I can go back first and find some treasures or formations that can resist the demonic insects. We'll come back some other time.
With wounded pride in bodies, the brothers retreated from their failed mission. Their tormentors, the verdant frogs, remained in the Newland space, their incredible evolution unknown even to their creator. Meanwhile, in the domain tower, Zane continued his own journey of discovery, completely unaware of how his insects had grown to rival even Marshal King-level experts. Half a month had passed, and Zane had successfully ascended to the 12th floor of the domain tower. Here, he found himself standing before an awe-inspiring sight, an enormous magma volcano, its fiery light soaring skyward in all directions. The air itself seemed to ripple with a searing heat capable of melting flesh and bone. As early as 2 days ago, Zane had sensed something unusual about this floor. His intuition had proven correct. This was no ordinary level of the domain tower. Suddenly, from beneath the molten surface, a magnificent fire dragon erupted into the sky. It traced a majestic arc through the air before plunging back into the burning depths below.
These past 2 days have revealed something unusual about this floor. There's more here than meets the eye.
Indeed, Zane had discovered the floor's true nature. It was composed entirely of the remains of giant Decka corpses. The very ground beneath his feet was formed from the weathered bones of these ancient beings, though whether they were human or demonic beasts remained a mystery. The thick Decka contained within these massive corpses had transformed over time, becoming the volcano of lava before him. Every element of this floor, the scorching lava, the suffocating steam, the consuming flames, all were manifestations of the pure Decka of fire.
The Decka of fire here is too potent. It won't be a problem for me to absorb all of it and master it. When the time comes, I'll assimilate the third ball of willpower energy and merge 3 kinds of Decka of nature. Those in the Marshal King level may not even be able to defeat me.
With battle intent burning in his heart, Zane closed his eyes and began to comprehend the power of fire. His power of fire had only reached entry level during the Dragon Envoy of Kangmu selection, but his previous comprehension of the Decka of Thunder and Wind had made this new understanding considerably easier. His mastery grew at an extraordinary pace. Within mere hours, his power of fire reached the basic level. As 1 day passed, he achieved full mastery at the major completion stage. 3 more days would have seen him reach absolute perfection, but suddenly, he hit an unexpected bottleneck in his progression.
What's that? Let's go and have a look.
Following the strange sounds, Zane's footsteps led him to an extraordinary sight. Hovering above the magma, an illusory firebird manifested, its ethereal form rippling with pure fire essence.
This can't be. It's actually the spirit of Decka.
Zane's eyes shone with unbridled excitement, his heart racing at this unprecedented discovery. For before him floated not just any manifestation, but a true spirit of Decca. A spirit of Decca was like a piece of nature's power that came alive on its own. It was special because it could show up looking like different things in the world. Some people said these spirits were like nature's thoughts taking shape. Some looked like powerful weapons ready for battle. Others appeared as beautiful plants and trees swaying in the wind. The really interesting ones even looked like monsters from old stories. Each spirit was unique, showing different parts of nature's power. Usually, when nature's power turned into a spirit, it wasn't just any weak thing. It was always pretty strong, stronger than most powers people could find. These spirits were rare and special, which made them super valuable. The huge firebird flying around looked magical, like it wasn't quite real. It looked just like those phoenix birds from ancient stories, being born again in bright flames. It flew in big circles over a sea of bubbling hot lava and fierce fire, its wings leaving trails of light in the air. Right in the middle of the firebird, floating like a star, was a shiny treasure bead about as big as a fist. The light from it was so bright it lit up the whole area around it. The bead was clearer than crystal, and if you looked closely, you could see a special flame trapped inside. This wasn't just any fire. It looked even stronger than the 9 genuine flames that powered the divine bow. The power coming from it made the air around it feel hot and heavy.
Wow, it's really a Decca spirit. Nobody owns it yet. This is more than perfect. What amazing luck. If I can get that bead and make it mine, I'll get so much stronger than before. I might even learn the strongest type of Decca right away. This could change everything. Maybe I can even control the highest form of Decca spirit. Just think of the possibilities.
Zane's eyes lit up with hope as he carefully started using his firepower. He knew he had to be super careful. This power could help him understand the firebird and maybe get it to trust him enough to come closer. The firebird's power was incredibly strong, way stronger than anything Zane had seen before. It was at least at level 3 of the Decca fire. If he tried to fight it head-on, he'd be totally destroyed, not even leaving ashes behind. The heat alone could melt rocks into puddles. This was extra dangerous because Zane wasn't even at the highest level yet. He was still working his way up, not even close to reaching semi-martial king level. Every move he made had to be perfect. The situation was so dangerous that even someone at martial king level, people who could usually split mountains with their hands, would die fighting this fire spirit. That's how powerful these natural spirits were. This was exactly what made the Domain Tower such a special and scary place. Every corner was filled with Decca of nature, and sometimes these powers came alive like this. It was both amazing and super dangerous. Even though Zane's firepower was at its highest point, it felt much gentler than Decca of fire. It was like comparing a warm campfire to a raging forest fire. This difference was important. In this whole area full of bubbling lava mountains and streams of molten rock, Zane's firepower felt unique. It had a different quality to it, more controlled and refined. The firebird kept flying in big circles, getting more and more interested in Zane's special firepower. Little by little, it started coming closer, testing the air carefully with each movement, like it was trying to decide if Zane was a friend or foe.
Come here. That's it. Come to me. I promise I won't hurt you. You can trust me. That's it. Come on, just a little closer. I'll take really good care of you. Better than anyone else could.
As Zane worked to control his firepower just right, he had to fight to keep his heart from beating too fast. He held his breath and stayed as still as a statue, knowing that one wrong move could ruin everything. Sweat dripped down his face from the effort, but he didn't dare wipe it away. There were only 2 things that could happen if you scared a Decca spirit, which was smart enough to think like a person. Both options were bad news for Zane. Either it would get scared and run away, taking all his hopes with it, never to be seen again, or it would get super angry and kill him on the spot, burning him to nothing in seconds. Zane had to stay focused like never before. His life depended on it. Every breath, every tiny movement had to be perfect. After what felt like forever, the huge firebird started moving closer to Zane. Its flames cast dancing shadows on the walls around them.
Stop right there. I put this Decka spirit here myself. How dare you try to take what's mine?
A skinny old guy appeared from nowhere. He looked about 70, with a face full of wrinkles, and he stared at Zane and the spirit like a hungry wolf watching its dinner. Zane frowned, worry creeping into his mind. His perfect plan was falling apart.
I thought I was alone in here. Where did this old man come from? This is bad.
When Zane didn't move or reply, the old man raised his wrinkled hand and shot out some firepower of his own. The wild flames danced through the air, quickly catching the spirit's attention like a shiny toy. The firebird twisted in the air like a leaf in the wind and changed direction completely, now flying toward the old man instead. Its golden wings left trails of light behind it. Zane's face hardened like stone. All his careful work was being ruined.
Ha ha, stupid kid. I told you this is my treasure. How dare you even think about taking it? Who gave you the guts to try?
Zane knew better. The bead and the spirit were free, like wild animals. They didn't belong to anyone. That was what made them special. And if the old man really owned it, why did he need to use firepower to get the Decka spirit's attention, just like Zane had done? The truth was obvious. He was trying to steal it.
Ever heard of first come, first serve, old man? Do you know what happens to thieves who try to steal my stuff?
The spirit was so close to being his, just seconds away. But this greedy old man had ruined everything. Zane could feel his anger building like a volcano about to explode.
First come, first serve? Ha! That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Here's how it works. If I see something I want, it's mine. If you think you're tough enough to take it, go ahead and try, little boy.
The old man waved his hand dismissively at Zane, treating him like an annoying bug. He clearly wasn't worried at all. Being at semi-martial king level made the old man feel invincible. In comparison, Zane was only at the 9th stage of the master level. The gap between their powers was like comparing a puddle to an ocean. If Zane tried anything stupid, the old man would just kill him without breaking a sweat. People died in the domain tower all the time. One more body wouldn't matter. Everyone knew that not all who entered the domain tower came out breathing. Greedy people often died trying to grab power they couldn't handle. Their bodies never found.
All right, you asked for this. Destroyer of wind. Thunderbolt.
Zane's eyes turned fierce and cold. A new plan formed in his mind. If this old thief wouldn't let him have the spirit, then nobody would get it. The air around Zane went crazy with power. Strong winds that could tear trees apart mixed with lightning bolts as thick as tree trunks, all shooting through the air like angry snakes looking for prey. Everyone knew you couldn't use vital energy in the domain tower. Those were the rules. But nature's power? That was fair game, and Zane knew exactly how to use it. Zane brought his hands together like he was clapping. Decka of wind and thunder power swirled and mixed inside them, dancing together in perfect balance. These two scary powers had never been combined quite like this before. The power coming from his palms was like nothing anyone had seen before. It made the air itself shake with fear. This was the first time ever that Zane had tried mixing Decka of wind and thunder since learning how to use them. The power was beyond anything he expected. It was like holding a small sun in his hands. The crazy light and power from his hands scared the spirit so bad that everything changed in a second. The firebird flapped its beautiful wings in panic, grabbed its precious bead tight, and dove straight down into the bubbling lava below, disappearing completely.
You stupid little bastard! Look what you did! You made me lose the greatest treasure ever! How are you going to pay me back for this?
Pay you back? No way. But I got plenty of punches saved up. Want some? Just stick out your face and I'll give you all of them.
How dare you talk to me like that? Fine then, don't blame me for what happens to you now.
The old man's whole body suddenly changed, turning into thick smoke that swirled like an angry storm. In his hand, fire rolled and twisted through the air, taking the shape of a massive dragon made of pure flame. The fire dragon shook its massive body and charged straight at Zane. its jaws open wide enough to swallow him whole.
Just die quietly, you worthless kid.
You're the one who's going to die today, old man.
Zane let out a battle cry and released all the Destroyer of Wind and Thunderbolt power from his hands at once. The force of it made his arms shake. All that destroying power, squeezed tight into his palms, looked like a perfect round jewel made of Decka of lightning and wind. It shot out more raw power than anything Zane had ever made before.
Ha ha! Go tear him apart!